Hello students, welcome back to my channel. So we are studying gastrointestinal pathologies, and today's video is about the malrotation, intussuspension, volvulus. So malrotation is actually the anomaly of the mid-gut rotation during the fetal development, which result in improper positioning of the bowel. There are small intestinal clump on the right side, and there are formation of the fibrous bed, which we call as the lad bands, and it can lead to volvulus and duodenal obstruction. Wrong rotation on wrong location. All right, so what is volvulus? We're going to talk about the volvulus first, and then we're going to talk about the intussuspension. So volvulus is actually the twisting of the portion of the bowel around its mesentery, and it can lead to obstruction and as well as infarction. It can occur throughout the GIT tract, so it can occur in the gastric region as well as in the mid-gut and as well as in the sigmoid region. So the one that is present in the mid-gut, that is basically affects infants. So M is for mid-gut and M is for minors, whereas sigmoid volvulus are actually given coffee bean sign on the x-ray, and it is more common in seniors. S is for sigmoid and X is for seniors. And if we then move on to the next thing, that is the short bowel syndrome. Short bowel syndrome results when too much small bowel is removed, and the common causes are actually the Crohn's disease, trauma, cancer, and the surgery. The main problem due to the removal of the small intestine result in poor absorption of the bile salts and fat, and it results in massive diarrhea after the meal. It can also result in weight loss, anemia, and stones, and it can lead to the absorption, in decreased absorption. Then we talk about the intussuspension. Intussuspension is actually a telescoping of the proximal bowel segment into a distal segment, and it is most commonly seen at the ileocecal junction, and it is seen in infants mostly. There are a number of causes. So one is usually idiopathic, that can occur in children, and less frequently it will identify a lead point. Idiopathic form is associated with infections, usually the adenovirus, rotavirus vaccines, and that can result in intussuspension, whereas the patches hypertrophy may act as a leading point, and the common leading points could be in children it could be as diverticulum, small bowel hematoma, and in adult it is usually the tumor or the mass. It can cause obstruction and vascular compromise, which result in the intermittent abdominal pain, vomiting, and the current jelly stool, and the physical exam, there is a mass in the right abdomen, sausage shaped mass, and the patient may draw their legs to the chest to ease the pain. On imaging, the ultrasound and CT scan usually show a target sign. So these signs are important: the target sign, the coffee bean sign, as well as the result that it results from the viral infection in children. It usually act as a leading point in children. And then if you move on to the next things, there are some other intestinal disorders. For example, the acute mesenteric ischemia, angiodysplasia, chronic mesenteric ischemia, clonic ischemia, ileus necrotizing enterocolitis, and small bowel obstruction, and proctitis, and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So if we talk about the acute mesenteric ischemia, as the name indicates, it is a blockage of the intestinal blood flow, usually the superior mesenteric artery, and that results in necrosis of the small bowel. And the usual finding is the abdominal pain that result out of portion to a physical finding, and may we see red current jelly stool. Then angiodysplasia is actually the tortuous dilation of the vessels, that result in hematochezia, and is most often found in the right side colon in older individuals, and that is confirmed by angiography associated with end-stage renal disease, aortic stenosis, and valvular membrane disease. Chronic mesenteric ischemia is actually the intestinal angina and intestinal hypoperfusion that result in postprandial epigastric pain, and that can result in food aversion and weight loss. Chronic ischemia is actually the cramping and bleeding, and result in a thumbprint sign. Ileus is the bowel stops moving without any blockage, and it can be from the different causes, that is actually the surgeries, OPAs, hypokalemia, and sepsis. And then we have the necrotizing enterocolitis that is seen in premature formula fed infants with immature immune system. Necrosis of the intestinal mucosa, which can lead to intestinalis, pneumoperitoneum, and portal venous gas. Then we have small bowel obstruction. Small bowel obstruction is actually the mechanical blockage, and that can be due to the hernias, adhesions, or tumors. Adhesions are the most common one, and it presents with abrupt onset of abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, and abdominal distension, compromised blood flow due to excessive dilation or strangulation that can lead to ischemia, necrosis, or perforation. It is most commonly caused by the intraperitoneal adhesions, tumors, and hernia, and the X-ray show the air fluid levels in the small bowel obstruction. Then, if we move on to the proctitis is actually the inflamed rectum due to the STI, IBD, or radiations, and it results in tenesmus, bleeding, rectal pain. And some infections that are responsible for proctitis include the cytomegalovirus, chlamydia, gonorrhea, and HSV. So if we move on to the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth that results in too many bacteria in the small intestine, for example, the proton pump inhibitors, blind loop, obstruction, gastroparesis symptoms, bloating, watery diarrhea, and B12 deficiencies. And the diagnosis can be from the breath test. So this was all about the some intestinal disorders. We are going to talk about the polyps in the next video. Keep watching and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.